Intellectual stew. Intellectual stew with James Kirkland.
Powerful and provocative, prophetic and practical,
Have you ever found yourself?
Are you dating for that person?
informative and
I feel
inspirational.
every bit of it. Like, I'm not trying to waste my
How you gonna do better if you don't know what better looks like? I do.
Intellectual stew.
Come on, let's talk about it with me, the mind massager.
Intellectual stew. Intellectual stew with James Kirkland. Intellectual stew.
What's going on, Lakeisha? If y'all can hear me, let me know. I'm trying to put these links in the chat so for people that want to get on the show. It's gonna probably loop and play it one more time, and I'm gonna let it. What's going on, Sharon Butler, Cleveland? We're going to have a good show tonight, y'all. It might just, hey, Lakeisha, it might just be me. I might have some help. If I do, fine. If I don't, fine. Good thing about it is my name is on the show. So guess what? The show has to go on regardless. Did it go on? Okay. Hold on. What's going on here? There we go. All right. So I wanted to put the link in the chat. We're opening up the mic. Oh, look, electric hands. My must not be enough light on my green screen. That's fine. Y'all can see me and hear me, so that's all that matters. So listen, do me a favor. What's up? What it do? Time for another episode of the Intellectual Stew. What's up, Viola? Lakeisha? If you're in the chat, do me a favor. Go ahead and let me know you're listening from. Let me know you're listening live. Let me see if I can, turn this off. All right, let's get this music off so we can get this show started. Hey, what's up? Like I said, what's up? What it do? Time for another episode of the Intellectual Stew. It's time to have some stimulating conversation, get this ball rolling. Looking forward to it tonight. I had some more people that are supposed to be on with me tonight, one of which is not feeling well. She's a little under the weather, and I understand that. Sometimes we have these unexpected sicknesses and illnesses, and we persevere through, and hey, I'm gonna do my thing. And if I was sick, I promise y'all wouldn't see me right now, but you do see me, and I am here, and I'm ready to get this party started. Are y'all ready to get this party started as well? Well, let's go. Now, I have put the link to the show in the chat. You should be able to recognize it because it says link to show. And that is for those that might want to come on and share in our conversation tonight. This I wanted to open up the mic, make it kind of open. Now, if you have shared in the past, then I might or might not let you on. Man, I'm just being real talk. Because like I said, I might not. I just depend on how I feel. But if you're new and I see that you want to share something regarding this conversation tonight, then by all means, we'll accommodate you, and we'll let you say what you're gonna say. But do know that my block game is strong, and I can block and kick and all that kind of stuff. But I'm not one that censors people. I let people say what they say. I don't really try to stop people from saying whatever it is on their mind. I just don't do that. Someone please bless me to feed my kids. Bless your heart. All right. Okay. Let me see. So yeah, let me move on. Bless you, man. Yeah. So I try not to block people. I try to let people say what they want to, what they want to say. I really do. But sometimes people will, try to jump on and divert the conversation. If I have a particular topic, or if I'm trying to promote reconciliation, and then you come on with divisive language, then I'm probably going to call you on that. And I think it's my incumbent responsibility to call you on it. I think it's because if I'm trying to promote connections, if I'm trying to promote reconciliation, and it looks like you're promoting division, and I call you on it, that's what I'm supposed to do. Now, that doesn't mean you have to take your ball and go home. That doesn't mean that I'm kicking you out the group or that you're not welcome. You know, I argued with my sister growing up, but she's still my sister. I still love her. I haven't stopped loving her. So therefore, we have strife sometimes. Therefore, we have little rifts and all those kinds of things. But at the end of the day, our goal is reconciliation. Our goal is to promote harmony between the sexes. Look behind me. Look at that. You see what that says? Look. It says the bonding of the sexes, the bonding of the sexes. So I'm not trying to cause a battle of the sexes. I'm trying to bond the bonding of the sexes. Hey, what's up, Dawood? So I'm trying to get brothers and sisters to come together. Now, listen, I'm going to put this caveat out there now. I'm telling you now, we all know what the problems are. We have been discussing the problems for far too long. All we talk about, men tell women what they're supposed to be, women telling men what they're supposed to be. And really, men should be talking to men and women should be talking to women. If men can help, if young men can help give if older men can give young men good advice and help them become better men, if older women can give young women good advice and help them become younger, better women, then guess what? We're better for each other. We understand our purpose for each other. And so what I did today was because I'm getting ready for the bonding of the sexes. It's a podcast that I'm going to do in North Little Rock, Arkansas on March the 2nd, 2024. Now, that sounds crazy, don't it? 2024. Wow. That's crazy. But anyway, I'm doing that March 2nd, 2024 in North Little Rock, Arkansas at the House of Art. Now, I've had several people call me and ask me, can you buy tickets? No, you can't buy tickets. The tickets are not for sale. The tickets are given away on an invitation-only basis. Therefore, I am only inviting people who have been following the podcast. If you've not been following the podcast, why would I invite you? You're not following. Does it? I mean, I'm not trying to be rude, but does that make sense? Why would I go out of my way to invite you if you had? Now, listen, I can give, like I told you all on my live earlier today, I'll give you a hack. I got a YouTube channel. It's called The Intellectual Stew with James Kirkland. That's my YouTube channel. Let me here it is. I'm gonna put it up there for you. So with this, all you have to do is just go watch a couple of shows and subscribe. And if you subscribe and then you hit me in my inbox and you say, hey, James, I want to come. If I have not exceeded my number, which I do have a number, I'll gladly let you come. I might ask you what show you enjoyed or something along those lines. But I think that's only fair. Do y'all think that's fair? Let me know. Y'all talk back to me in the chat because y'all know I'm a preacher. So I like a talk back church. So I need y'all to talk back to me so I'll know that I'm in the right house. So certain people on this live right now, they're invited and they're going to come out. And if they drink, there will be a bartender there. And we're gonna have hors d'oeuvres. Now I already let them know that I'm allergic. That's fair, Kawan. Appreciate you. I already let them know that I'm allergic to shellfish, so I can't mess with shellfish. But I did let them know I wanted meatballs. I hope they don't do turkey, but it don't matter if they do turkey. I won't ask, so I'll be surprised. But anyway, let's get this party started. So today on my Facebook, no, hold on. First, before I say that, look at this part right here. Okay, you see it? It says it's gonna be a night of reconciliation. So you know what it means to reconcile. That means to come back together, to build the bond, to strengthen the bond. That's the goal. We're trying to strengthen the bond between men and women. And I want to debunk some of the myths that exist that keep us divided. Because so many things seem to keep us divided as opposed to uniting us. And our goal is 100% to unite us, and especially black men and women. I want to unite men and women, but especially, and that's not to slight anybody else. I'm not being prejudiced. I'm not being anything of the sort, but there's an epidemic in our community, and I'm concerned about that. So what I'm doing for the month of February is I am doing what I'm calling the road to reconciliation. I need y'all, if y'all are listening, do me a favor, hit hashtag live and tell me where you're listening from. Now, if you're in my group, if you're in the Stu Nation group and you're listening through there, will you back out and then hit the permission button? All you have to do is accept the permissions, and it'll let me, Kawana, it'll let me see your name. Dawood, it'll let me see your name. Right now, you only show up as Facebook user. But if you click the permissions, it'll let me see your name, and then I can converse with you like we're on stage together. That'll be fun, right? All right, so if y'all help me out doing that, I'll appreciate you. So here's the post. I put this post out earlier today. Y'all want me to share the screen? I'll share the screen. Hold on. Let me share this screen. Yeah, here we go. Share screen, Facebook. Boom. So this is my Facebook page. Okay, share. So I put this out today. I said, I'm preparing for tonight's show, and I need your help. I'm really sick and tired of the subtle battle that exists between the sexes. It's almost like there is an invisible force working to cause us to disconnect. So here is the question. And this is what I said. I said, what do you think has to happen for men and women to reconcile? That was the question. The question was, what do you think? I appreciate you, Viola, for doing that for me. I appreciate you. Viola's the only one that did it. Thank you, Viola. You're so sweet to me. It says, what do you think has to happen for men and women to reconcile? So let me stop sharing. And so that was the question that I put out on Facebook today. And we got a little traction. We got several different answers. And I was hoping that some of those individuals would be on this live tonight. Oh, you can't figure, who is that? So they can't figure it out. Dawood. Okay, that's fine. That's all right. If you can't figure, I see your name. We'll get to work it out. Okay, you're trying to get to the permission part. Yeah, you got to kind of back out, and then when you look at the screen, you'll see, like when you're coming through the group and you see the square right above it, it has a paragraph, and the paragraph says, in order for you to what's up, Fred Daniel? In order for you to have your comments seen, you accept these permissions. But let's move on. We're not gonna let that bother us tonight. We're gonna let that bother. What's up, Freddie D? My boy in Little Rock, in Little Rock, Arkansas. Hardest working man in the city. So y'all holler. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna talk about some of the things, some of the answers that I got on the show tonight. On the post today. And let me read the post again for some that are checking in. It says, I'm preparing for tonight's show. I'm really sick and tired. Excuse me. Let me just get to the gist. I'm really sick and tired of this subtle battle that exists between the sexes. It's almost like there is an invisible force working to cause us to disconnect. Bro, if you can jump on, I'm ready when you are. What? And then it said, here's the question: what do you think has to happen for men and women to reconcile? Listen. Reconciliation is my only goal. Lakeisha, Fred, Lakeisha, speaking to you. As what reconciliation is the only goal. That's the only goal, and it has to happen. We can go through history and we can talk about where the disconnect occurred, but we've already done that. We could talk about why women might not be as soft as we think they should be, and women can say why they're not soft as they should be. But we've already had those conversations. We could talk about I got to get into my feminine energy and all these types of things. But we've had all those conversations, right? And I think what ends up happening is, and y'all walk with me on this, we use the healing phase as a crutch. We stay in the healing phase, and if we say that we're in the healing phase and never ever get out of the healing phase, then we can always say that I'm still healing. I'm still going through this. I see you, Mary. Absolutely. Mary said there has to be a desire to reconcile, and we're gonna jump into that, because I like to use this metaphor sometimes about how people will fall on their own hand grenade just to keep somebody else from destroying them, right? So before a relationship even has a chance to manifest, then they're already looking for red flags, because red flags is the new buzzword. They're always, to me, Mary, it almost looks like people are looking, They're going into relationships knowing that, or thinking that they're going to fail. So they already put in precursors so that if they do fail, I can say, well, see, that's why I fail. And I think sometimes what individuals do is they use that as a crutch. So they can always say in a they can always stay stuck in a perpetual state of healing, saying I'm healing, I'm here. But you know what's funny though, y'all? And I'm not trying to be funny when I say this. I'm being dead serious. Dead serious. Here it is right here. Sometimes you won't even know if you're healed until you're in your next relationship. You won't even, and I've said that several times in the past. You will not, I really believe that some of us will not know if we're really healed until we're in our next relationship. But what a lot of us do is while we're going through the healing phase, while their sore is still afresh, all those things, while it's almost healed, what we do is we start, and it becomes a scab, we start to pick at that scab. And we pick at the scab. And when you pick at a scab, you already know what happens. It gets infected. It starts to hurt. Who is that? Mary said we use another relationship. Absolutely. That's when you get in too soon. We use a relationship. Here it is, Mary. We try to go from pain to pleasure. We try to go from pain to pleasure. That's what it is. But let me tell you something, baby. Pain to pleasure is not a good platform to build a relationship on, because you haven't taken time to heal. But once you do heal, then it's time to move forward. But for those of you all that are, and I was probably there myself, some of us are so afraid to go into a new relationship. The worst advice, Ariel, who was that said? She said we use another relationship. Oh yeah, I don't think she's giving. You're saying she's not giving. She's not giving advice. I don't think that's. If that's not what you meant, Melinda. That you're assuming that she's giving advice, because that's not. She's not giving advice. She's saying that some people use another relationship to get over the last relationship. Nobody. I don't think anybody in that instance said that somebody gave someone some advice. I think she was just giving an example of what some people do. And if I'm wrong on that, let me know. And maybe I misinterpreted your comment, Melinda. But no, when you address Mary, it made it sound like Mary was giving that advice. But Mary's not giving that advice. Mary just said it. All right, never mind. I'm here. That's why I need other people on the show sometimes to kind of help, so I can read these comments, because I'm reading them in real time. But anyway, so we gotta get healed completely, right? And then once we're healed, it's like an athlete. When an athlete goes through, he might have torn his meniscus, and they say he can come back in 4 to 6 weeks. And for those thank you, Kawana, I see you now. For those 4 to 6 weeks, they're going through rigorous rehabilitation and trying to get the muscle strong and all that kind of stuff. But you don't really know how strong it is until you get on the court and test it. I remember back in the day when Russell Westbrook played for the Oklahoma City Thunder, and he had torn his meniscus during the regular season, right? And so he came out, and the first game he got in, he took off and he dunked on somebody. I mean, dunked on him, right? A lot of people would be timid in that instance. Like Derrick Rose never really came back after he had his injury and did what he did. But it's just a little bit different. Yeah. So let me read this. Fred says, only when a man owns his own responsibility and builds himself up what he truly deserves, he can truly heal and get to the reconciliation and know how to love yourself. I like that, Fred. And I like the fact that you said when a man, you didn't say when a woman. You didn't tell a woman how to be a woman. I appreciate that. Kawana, let me see what you said. Kawana said, I think you can receive healing from the next relationship. And honestly, I think your healing might be in the next relationship. It could be the next person you go to might hold a key, like Augustine said something. Augustine is one of the church fathers, and he said something that I think is very powerful. He said that God has made us for himself, and our hearts are restless until it finds its rest in him, right? And so when I think about that quote, I think about a 1,000-piece puzzle. And if you take a 1,000-piece puzzle and you want to put that puzzle together, you don't take one piece out at a time, right? You empty all the pieces on the table, right? And then eventually, you when you connect all the pieces together, you got a full puzzle. Now, if it's only 999 pieces in the box, the puzzle will never become complete. I think a lot of times our lives are a lot like those puzzles, right? I think that we have been given, God has given us most of the pieces. Some people say 999. I want to say 998. I believe that the true completion comes in the form of uh, number one, in God, in a higher power, whatever you call him. I know what I call it. But in God, number one. But then also I believe it comes in companionship. And I believe once we get those things, I believe that those are the things that help to complete us. Y'all can debate me on that all day. It's my opinion. It's okay. You can have your opinion, and I promise you I won't debate you about yours. But I believe that our opinions come. I believe it's better when we have companionship and when we have God in our lives. And I believe that those things I think those things make us complete. Fred, that might be true, but tonight we're talking about relationships. So we're going to stay on the relationship vein tonight. And then we might move forward and talk about some more things. So let me do this. I'm going to put up some comments that were given to me on the on my page today. And then if somebody wants to come on, like I said, and discuss those, I will put the link in the chat again. Let me go back here and put it in the chat one more again, and we will we'll keep this party going. Those that are listening, do me a favor, share this thread. Let somebody know that we're on right now. And also feel free to jump in the chat, especially if you haven't spoken in the past. Now, if you spoke in the past, let somebody else talk. That's fair. That's fair. I got Viola. She might want to talk. I got Mary. She might want to talk. I got a whole bunch of people that might want to come in that are commenting. So let's give them those opportunities. So I put the link to the show in that chat, and I think it's already in the one in the group, but I'll put it in there again just in case, because like I said, I'm going to read some of the comments from the show, and I appreciate y'all so much for listening. That's why we're doing this event that's why we're doing this event in Arkansas in when is it? In March. Who is that said awesome? Let me get in this thing again. There we go. Oh yeah, Jarvis Tyler. What's up, bro? Okay, so let me get some of these. Let's put some of these comments up. First comment I want to put up was by Honey Lopez. And Honey said something that obvious, but this is what she said. She says men do what the question is, what is it going to take for men and women to reconcile? If I had to put my head up like this so y'all can see me, I'm joking. Y'all know where I'm at. But it says men do what they're supposed to and let a woman enter into her soft era. And she said it's a lot of too independent women out here because men aren't stepping up. Okay, so men aren't stepping up. So and honestly, to hear that, and that doesn't bother me at all. That doesn't, because some men do need to step up. And let me say this: advice is optional, right? If you receive advice, the old folk used to say something like this: you just chew the meat and spit out the bones. If something is relative, then if it makes sense, then you act accordingly. If it doesn't make sense, you have to keep on. My problem comes when we start debating other people's opinions. Like I put a post out last week that Danny Michon did. And when I put that post out, so many brothers seemed like they were offended. And I'm like, why are y'all offended? Because some brothers do send the representative. And then they say, well, some women do send the representative. And okay. Some brothers send a representative, some women send a representative too. Yeah, but we're talking about men today. And here it is. If she's not talking about you, then why get offended? That's like me walking in the house and seeing my daughter who wears a size. We're not pointing fingers. We're not pointing fingers. We're talking. There you go. That's to me, that's the point right there. Why, if it's non-applicable, why do you feel offended? If it don't apply, let it fly. When I walk, like I said, when I walk in my house, if my daughter wears a size 6 shoe, I wear a size 12. What would it look like for me to go over there and try to put her shoes on? And we're not, and I asked a question. What do you think it would take? Dawood, I'm gonna ask you a question, bro. Here it is right here. No, see, we got, if you stick around a little bit longer, you're gonna see where women start holding women accountable too. But we're so offended. See, that's the problem with a lot of Negroes and brothers today. And I'm not trying to jump on nobody, honestly, but we're so offended when it's not even time to be offended. If a shoe, like, thank you, Melinda. If it don't fly, if it don't apply, let it fly. If they're talking about bad men, they're not talking about me. And guess what? If it's a bad man, he need to be talked about. If it's a bad woman, she needs to be talked about. We give them too much advice. Man, nigga, whoever you are, can y'all? I gotta figure out how to block these people tonight. I appreciate you, but you get the same cash out for a different name. How can I block these people? Yeah, if it does not apply, let it fly. Listen, women, do me a favor. Talk about all the bad men you want. And I'm gonna sit over here and eat popcorn and watch y'all talk about them. And when I'm ready for a woman, I'm gonna get one of them, because guess what? That don't apply to me. I only wear shoes that fit my feet. So when they talk about these dudes who don't do this and don't do that and all that kind of stuff, yeah, I listen twice as hard as I do. I promise you I do. Never mind. So anyway, let's move on. So I'm gonna get some of these comments out the way. And yeah, I agree 100%. Yeah, report all of them for me, please, and block them if you can. I can't get in there right now. But ain't nobody getting no cash apps in here. Hell, especially if I'm not getting one in, and I don't even hardly ask for them till the end of the show. But I mean, I don't want nobody to be hungry. So let's see what Ashley said. And I love Ashley's response. What Ashley said? Stop comparing. What's good for you might not be good for someone else. Like, we've had this tired conversation about 50-50 for so freaking long. And I know good and well that some women will take care of a man. I know plenty of men that take care of women. I know all that, but you do what works for you. Listen, God made us. This is so interesting to me. God anatomically, when he stooped down in the dust in the power of his might and picked up a lump of clay and shaped the clay and molded the clay and into the clay blew the breath of life, he gave us our own fingerprints. So what appeals to me might not appeal to you. So sometimes stop projecting what you will or won't do on somebody else. Y'all ever heard of this term called groupthink? See, groupthink and brainstorming are a little bit different. Brainstorming, you just throw ideas out and we just expound on them. We just expound, just brainstorm, idea. But groupthink, see, the person who starts groupthink, they're afraid of the outcome. So they'll start the conversation so it starts swaying it one way. So when you sway it that way, now we can stay on this subject and kind of move. Never mind, I'm through with that. What you say? Mary said, let me put this up. She says, I think when people hear the word reconcile, we immediately think of the bad in relationship. That's good. That's why we are so easily offended when people say something negative. Maybe the focus should be on growing the positive. We begin to reconcile relationships by growing the good. We can do a round robin about the bad all day. That's all I'm trying to say. Mary, you just hit the nail on the head. That's all I'm trying to say. I mean, so we come in, well, what about this? What about it? I'm not offended by nobody else. Nobody else. All right, y'all are having a good. I like the fact that y'all are having a good dialogue in the comments, because we might be on for a while tonight. And like I said, the link is in the chat. Danny, Myra, Phoenicia, anybody, if y'all want to, Phoenicia. In fact, jump on that. Hit that, Phoenicia. Hit that link if you will. Let me put it in here again, because if you want to come on and talk about your post today, you are welcome. Which one are you in? Let me find you. Are you in the group or are you on my page? Let me find you. Let me find you. Y'all be patient with me tonight. One day the God's gonna bless me with a program manager to do all this stuff for me. But I got it right now. I'm gonna have to do what I gotta do. All right, so there the link is in the chat again. Phoenicia, if you're there and I see you come in the back, I want to discuss your post. Okay. Who that said some people are just pessimistic? I can't see everybody's comments right now, but I got it. Let me find it. Okay. Phoenicia, you're in the group. So let me put the link in here again. Okay, I see you. I see you now. So I'm putting the link in right now. And if you come in, we'll discuss your post from earlier today. Why can't I see? Oh, there we go. Boom. All right, Phoenicia Mo. That's who that's who I'm calling right now. All right. Yeah. But listen, when y'all come in the group, especially when you look, if it's a paragraph above the box that says, for StreamYard permission, to have your comments seen, allow StreamYard permissions. That allows me to see your name. I can see your name in the group, but I can't see your name in the main chat. So that's why I keep both of them open, so I can see both. Let me read another comment, because Ashley said stop comparing. But here's another one. This is Vic Damone, and I like this one, to be honest with you. It's real practical. But he said men and women don't have these problems. It's the grown children that do. I ain't gonna lie. Oh, Mr. Damone could have dropped the mic right there. He said men and women don't have these problems. Grown children do. Because, like I said before, and y'all hear me talk about this all the time, I don't see why we argue over other people's opinions. That's their opinion, and it's their personal proclivity. If it's what they want to do, it's just their thing to do. Who cares? I mean, what Kawana, I know if you won't hear me with me, I try not to cuss too much on this show. I really try to, because I don't know, one day a church might look at me. But I know Kawana, if my girl Kawana was on here, Kawana would say something like this. She'd say, what you eat don't make me. She said, what you eat doesn't make me, and that excrete. I'll use that term. I'll say excrete. Hold on. I see you right there. Let me go to Phoenicia. She's jumped on because I wanted somebody to jump in with me. Hey, ma'am, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
As well. I'm doing very well. You enjoying the show so far?
So far, so good.
So far, so good. I appreciate you for jumping on. I appreciate the comment you gave earlier today. Now, she doesn't know me very well, y'all. So she came on and she was like, I'm
Thank
sorry
you
for
for the
rambling.
invite.
She said, oh, you're welcome. She said, I'm sorry for rambling. I said, rambling? No, as long as you can articulate a thought and, subjects and verbs agree and all that kind of stuff, I don't have a problem with it. And then you didn't come in pointing fingers. And that's what I do like, because a minute ago, somebody said something like everybody was only pointing fingers at the men. And that's not the case. That's not the case whatsoever. But if you stick around long enough, we'll teach you. And I don't have a problem with that. I love teaching. So I'm going to read your comment, and then you can tell me what was in your head when you wrote it. Okay.
Okay.
So here we go. Her comment says, I believe that men need to feel more confident enough to approach a lady in an appropriate manner. It seems as if more men seem intimidated to approach a woman who appears confident and successful. The courtship phase needs to be brought back. Just because you approach someone does not mean it has to be a relationship. It's okay to build a healthy foundation, friendship, and grow from there. We're gonna ignore that last part where she said something about sorry for rambling. Okay, so talk to me. Tell me what was behind your mind. What was on your thoughts when you gave me that post?
Okay. So I'm coming from a personal perspective and also from a professional perspective, because I'm a mental health therapist
Okay.
here in Little Rock. And so I do couples, family, as well as individual therapy. I have been single all my life. And I'm 48 years young.
Okay.
And I've been engaged twice, married none.
Okay.
So whenever I have someone meet or try to meet someone, or they meet me, they go immediately into, what do you have? You gonna be my honey? I had somebody tell me the other day, oh, we getting married tomorrow. And I was
What?
like, what's my favorite color? And they were like, I don't know. And I was like, you don't even know me. And so in relationships, the whole courtship phase, I remember grandparents, my older aunts and uncles, they talk about their courtship, where they met, they were friends, they just kind of hung out. Even if it was like a group setting, when you get together and you meet someone, it's not going in intended to say, hey, I'm going to get with you. Or even how now people, they have, hey, I'm going to hook you up with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
instead of, hey, let's get together, let's see if we can build a friendship first. We have some things in common. Let's now go out for a coffee. Let's see if we continue to build on this friendship. It's not immediately going into, I want to get with you.
Yeah. Now I'm glad you brought that up. And you're a mental health therapist, so we might vibe for a minute. So let's have a conversation tonight. So what I'm finding, and like I have been married. Okay, so I was married for 20 years, same woman, 20 years. We got 3 kids together, all that. Got divorced got separated in 17, got divorced in 19, right? So when I got married, the cell phone was barely out. Wasn't no internet dating, you know what I mean? None of that kind of stuff. When I got my first Acer Aspire in 1996, whatever it was, little computer, I had no clue what the internet was. Dial-up was, it was just a different time, right? And so coming out and seeing the mentality that's changed over the last 20 years, I'm finding that people, like, especially you get to know people on social media, right? You get to know the parts of that person that they present, right? And that's not necessarily, help me on this, that's not necessarily that I'm sending the representative. That means you're meeting the part of me that
they want you to see.
That even beyond, it's just it's the part that's available, because you can only get so much, you can only present so much of yourself
on social media,
right? If all we're doing is chatting and talking, we're gonna always talk about the good times. We're gonna always talk about what we like. We're not gonna know if you snore, you know what I'm saying? We're not gonna know what your bad habits are. We're not gonna know any of those things, because we've taken the time to get to know each other, not organically, right? We took the time, like, it's almost like, to me, like specialized planting, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Only this much can grow inside of this box, because this is all that's available, right? If you and I were dating and we only spent time in 2 rooms, how much of the world have we really seen?
Not even
much,
10%.
Right? Not even 10%. But we forget, so we go 1 to 8 or 1 to 9 and forgot about 2 through 7, right? We didn't take the time to sit down and say, okay, do I really like you? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm being petty, but I'm gonna say this for real. I've met people online that I typed with, that when I heard their voice, it turned me off, because the voice was deep. I'm like, I don't want to hear Froggy. You know what I'm saying? So, you can only get to know, and it's not always the representative. Representative is a good word. It's a good buzzword, just like narcissistic, just like shenanigans, just like toxic, all these words we use in 2023, 2024. But sometimes it's just a product of something that we wanted to emanate. We wanted that to be it so bad that we wouldn't recognize when it wasn't. And then when we found out what it was, now we hurt.
Right.
So that's nobody's fault, but it's breaking up relationships. It's like the grasshopper. It's like, grasshoppers, they like to eat up the seed just before what's inside of the seed is about to grow.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's what happens with our relationships, because Danny, Mashawn, Kawana, Lakeisha, so many of us stay stuck on start, that we never get a chance to really court and know each other.
The courtship.
How do we fix
share
it?
with a lot of couples in counseling. I have several couples actually that's in therapy right now, and where they're stuck, because you said something earlier on your live about perception and allowing ourselves to be clear on whatever the image is that the other person sees. And they get stuck in believing that what they see is what it is, and not allowing themselves to become vulnerable to show the real them, including hers, because that's where growth comes from. And an example that we used in a family session last week was there was the couple, and we were all sitting around the room, and one of the spouses said, "But you're not telling the truth. You don't understand where I'm coming from, and you're not telling the truth." And she was trying to tell the other person, this is how you're supposed to look at it. And I'm glad I'm sitting right here, because we said, look at the picture behind us. I can't see that, but you can see that. So where you're coming from, I can't tell you what's behind my head if I'm not
Mm,
turning around and looking at it, but you
absolutely.
can. It's about perception.
Hmm.
But slow down enough to allow for me to explain where I'm coming from so that increases understanding.
Yes. Yes. And a lot of that is easily rectified with a question. Now tell me what you're looking at instead of assuming what somebody's looking at, right?
Well, what did you
Because
hear me say?
what did you hear me say? What did you hold on. What did you hear me say? Oh Lord. What did you hear me say? And then that way we can talk about those things, right? But
Hmm.
sometimes we'll run with the perception in our head because sometimes perception is mixed with our projection. We're projecting our past experiences, we're
Hmm.
projecting our past hurt, we're projecting all of these things, and then we
Or
put it
even
in a bigger.
sometimes future desires, which you hope to see in something that hadn't even shown its face to you yet.
Absolutely, absolutely. I heard somebody say something earlier today. Um, and they okay, like say for instance, say you and I are talking, right? And you tell me up front I'm dating with a purpose. That doesn't mean I'm not. But I don't, but your purpose might not always be the same purpose. Because I don't even know if I like you enough. I haven't seen you in a position as a role of a wife yet. And I might I,
Right.
I think we're so enamored with the ideology of love at first sight, right? And
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
we're so enamored with that ideology, right? We want him to be him. And and,
You
and,
have a
and
laundry list of things, check boxes that you're going off of. And on the first, second time meeting, if they don't meet three of the 10, you're done.
yeah. Yeah. And that's not right because those you might like enough person enough to overlook some of those things if you give them a chance.
That's where
You know what I mean?
growth comes in.
That's where growth comes in. That's me really getting to know you. Not
Hmm.
what I think I know about you, or looking at profiles and all the, and I think that's maturity, right? That's real maturity. Those are the things that we did when we were 23, 24, when we would, when I was in my early, well, let me say I'm from Little Rock. So I left Little Rock at 23. But when I was in my early 20s, 2021, I think when I would go on a date, I would take a woman to the Arkansas River. I wasn't gonna throw her in or nothing like that, but I'd take her to the Arkansas River and I would look at the water, right? And I would have her look at the water and I would ask them, tell me what you see. And those conversations would be deep. You know what I'm saying? I remember one girl, I'm not gonna say her name, she might be listening, but I remember she said, it looks like time. I said, I said, how so? She said, just look at it. It just keep flowing. It's not gonna stop. It's not, it's gonna keep going at its own pace, yada yada yada. And she said, it looks like time. And we sat there and we talked for a minute after that conversation, right? Because now I see that you have the ability to think creatively, critically. And that's a whole different conversation. That's one thing about me. I bore easily. You know what I'm saying? And if I'm not getting met with half on the conversation, I shut down. And it's how it's funny how you could talk to some people and be on the phone for 3-4 hours and never miss a beat. But then you talk to
Hmm.
somebody else and you struggling, trying to find, you got a whole bunch of dead spots, you're trying to figure all those things. To me, the one that you can talk to for those 4, 5, 6 hours, that's somebody that you're probably, interested in, and that and you're taking the time to go through the steps. And that's one thing I'm picking up from you now is that growth occurs. Hear me well, Stu Nation. Growth occurs when we're willing to go through the steps. That means I get to know you up front. Now I live in Atlanta, so if somebody live in Snellville, I might not go pick them up and take them out to eat. We might have to meet at a restaurant on Ashford Dunwoody because that's halfway. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. It's a different time now. In Little Rock, I mean, you can go across town and pick somebody up. It's pretty. I'll be there in 10, 15 minutes. But shoot, Pine Bluff, from driving to go Snellville is like driving from here to Pine Bluff. You know what I'm saying? You ain't trying to go over there 4 times and whatever. But so things have changed. I get that, but I think we should evolve with those changes, right? But it's going part of that's going to take giving each other the grace. We got to give each other the grace to show us who we are, and you just said something a minute ago. We can't allow our list to limit what could potentially be a good situation, right? This ain't Build-A-Bear.
Absolutely.
This
Absolutely.
just ain't. Now you're not putting on. You're not taking a stuffed animal and putting the right type of clothes on it and calling it Build-A-Bear. No, these are real live human people. And like I said earlier, I don't know how you feel about that statement, Phoenicia. Am I pronouncing that right?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Okay. Um, I don't know how you feel about that statement, but I believe that some of us won't even know if we're healed or not until we're in our next relationship.
I
We
agree.
won't. We won't. You don't know. I mean, a scar, you won't know a sore is a scar until you no longer feel pain.
Right.
You won't. You won't know a sore is a
What I
scar.
often share with people is when you are hurting and in a bad place, that's the
Mhm.
best opportunity for growth.
Yeah. I like that.
It allows yourself to be vulnerable because you're uncomfortable. When you're
Yeah.
made uncomfortable, most times you hear people say, just get through it
Mhm.
or forget about it or you should be over it by now. It's by each person's time, but if we trust ourselves enough to ask what was the lesson in this so that I can trust to move to the next relationship, that's the best opportunity for us to grow into the person that we hope to become.
Yeah. I
It's
like that.
trusting yourself.
I agree with that. I think sometimes people might use the healing phase as a crutch to stay in it as long as they can to keep themselves from
Absolutely.
moving forward. And
As an excuse.
yeah, it's definitely an excuse. Absolutely, an excuse. That's the word I'm using for.
And also an
You,
excuse not to trust. It's
yeah.
an excuse not to trust. It's an excuse not to grow. It's an excuse to find fault in everyone else, including yourself,
Hmm. Yeah.
because all the boxes weren't filled according to your standards.
Yeah. And let me just say this. Let me put this caveat there for the. I'm not saying I can't speak for every man. I can speak for James. I think we need women. I mean, point blank. I mean, I can't imagine life without them. That just wouldn't be a good life
The
for me.
same as a man.
Yeah,
I have a
yeah.
shirt. I can't remember who put that shirt out, but I have a shirt that says black men are necessary.
And black women are necessary.
And I wear it proudly.
Do you wear it proudly?
I wear it proudly.
I wish you'd have had it on tonight. I would have had you stand up and model
How
for
about
us.
pray?
I'll pray. That's work too, though. Pray is just as good. But yeah. So that's something I think we need to realize. We do need each other. And I know people. I don't need a man. Well, and brother, I don't need nobody. I got. But yeah. But when you, I mean, I remember the first 3 or 4 years after my divorce when I lived alone. Right. Uh, silence sounded like noise. Silence sounded like noise. And I would think sometimes, what if I died in this apartment by myself? Would anybody know? Or how many days would it take before somebody called and checked on me, or my children, because they were going about their lives, because it
Hmm.
didn't as much change for them, So I was thinking, and so it made me think, I don't want to grow old alone. What I mean? I do want somebody to relate to at a certain point. Now as the older I get, and I'm in my 50s now, my patience is short. And my middle finger ministry is real strong. So I don't mind telling somebody that I will disconnect myself and withdraw the right hand of fellowship real fast. I have no problem. I take my hand, put it in my pocket. I promise you, because I ain't argue with nobody I can't fight. And I don't fight women, so I can't argue with women.
I
So
like that. Well, what I usually say is I'm allergic to foolishness and I don't take Benadryl.
yeah, Benadryl ain't no joke. I wish I had some right now. I sleep good tonight, but no, but I slept good last night. No, I'm sorry. What I go out sometimes like that. I'm trying to fix myself, but I want to get back to some more of these comments. But Phoenicia, I appreciate you for coming on. You gonna keep listening to it
I am.
tonight.
I
All right, I'm
am.
gonna go ahead and take you out. If anybody else wants to
Okay.
jump in when I put these comments out, feel free to do so. Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate you. All right, so let's put the next comment up. Now, Denise said something. And Denise, if you're in the comments, let me know. But Denise said something that I want to get y'all's opinion on. And I'm gonna put this comment out there. And the link is out there. Anybody want to jump on? Lakeisha, Mary, who else in there? I see. Anybody want to jump on? Female. I'm looking for a lady right now. If another lady wants to jump on, the link is in the chat. But I'm going to put Denise's comment up. And I want to know what y'all think about this. I need to hear you now. Talk back to me. She said, I don't think we've ever been great on terms. We've ever been on great terms. The past generation didn't have their home lives exposed to the world like today. I believe there's always been discord. That's evident with all the outside babies from both mom and dad. In my opinion, it is what it is. Maybe the next generation can figure it out. So I asked her, I said, so what you're saying is we're just damned if we do, damned if we don't. And all we need to do is just adjust. In other words, uh, if it's gonna be good for some people, women gonna still get cheated on, men still gonna get disrespected. Da, da, da. I don't know, but she said it is what it is. Do y'all agree with her? Do y'all think there's any hope for reconciliation? Y'all let me know. I'm putting the link in the chat. And if a lady I really want a lady's opinion on this one. If y'all agree with her, tell me. Let me know. Is she on point when she said that there really is no hope for relationships for the most part? Because she said, in other words, she basically said, we have never been on great terms. There have always been problems. We've always had outside babies from mama and daddy. At least she didn't point the finger at one side. She said we've always had babies, outside babies, all these types of things. So by her estimation, things will never get better. Now, my question was, what do y'all think it will take for men and women to reconcile? She's basically saying that there can be no reconciliation. Who is that then? Let me see who said that they agree with her. Let me see who says they agree. I ain't even gonna guess, but let me see. Dawood, he said he agrees. He says there'll never be any reconciliation, and that might be true. That very well might be true. I might, and I'm not naive. I didn't ever think that there would be 100% reconciliation, right? But if I can get 10%, 20%, and 20% is a real ambitious number. But if I can get 20%, if I can live my life in such a way, right? And this little podcast that I do, if it ever grows and it starts to reach more people, right? Then by my estimation, I believe that this podcast is shedding light on some dark situations. And eventually, and I've never seen light. Yeah, it's a very ambitious number. I admitted that first. I appreciate that. Amen. I've never seen light lose to darkness. I've never seen it happen. Whenever light shows up, darkness has to leave. Yeah, who is that? Thank you, Myra. Myra says she don't think it is as difficult as some make it. I can see that. But I think 20% is an ambitious number. But if, like I said, with this little podcast, especially if I get people to come on and stay on topic, right? And not try to change minds and all that kind of stuff. If we can stay on topic and all of us together push positivity and all of us agree, and we're going to try to live life in such a way that it sheds light. Whenever the light comes into contact with darkness, watch how quick darkness divides. Watch how quick darkness subsides at the very moment light comes on. Am I with someone? That's my business. But I haven't made who I'm with public. If that's what you're asking, I might be. Are you asking if I'm in a relationship? Like, does my stuff work? All that kind of stuff. I don't even have any stuff, bro. I just put the other people's opinions out there and then talk about them, and that's what I'm trying to do. So let me move on. That was Denise's, if that's the case. But let me put this next one out here. Who is it? Zontaria said something. Oh, okay, you're talking to somebody else. Zontaria said, pretty deep question. I think things will get better if we start. Here it is, and he's talking to me, and that's what I like about it. Let me get Zontarius. Hold on, I forgot about these things. Hold on. Let me give Zontarius. I forgot I even had these, y'all. Hold on. Let me do this for Zontarius. The reason I did that because Zontarius wasn't trying to tell women how to be women. He's talking to men. He says, pretty deep question. I think things will get better if we start approaching women as individuals instead of lumping them all together. If I'm only in search of one woman, my focus can't be on the state of all women because it will make me prone to projecting things onto them that doesn't apply. I believe if we each do our part in that manner, things will start correcting themselves. The key to every healthy relationship is a value system. Boy, you talking real good. I'll tell you the truth. That's what I'm talking about. And he's giving good advice to men. He ain't told a woman, and that's okay. And I can say I think women should do the same thing to women. I think that's what makes us stronger. Let me look at it again. He says, if I'm not lumping them all together, sometimes women lump men all together. We have to stop doing that if we're going to be effective. If we're going to be effective, we're not ever going to be effective by saying, well, y'all do it too. Well, we do it, but y'all do it too. That's not critical thinking. That's not even, I mean, that's, you know what that's called? On the playground, they call that tit for tat. And we too old to be playing tit for tat. I'm 51 years old. What's up, Charlotte? I'm 51 years old. I'm too big. I ain't got time to be playing tit for tat. I'm not worried about what all women do. I'm worried about the one that ends up being for me. That's what she does. And when I find out that we don't mix, I'm not hanging on. I don't hang around anchors. I don't hold nothing. I'm not hanging around anything to hold me down. Nothing at all. Yeah, nothing at all. I can't do it. I want to hang around somebody that, number one, I enjoy being around, and that makes me a better version of myself. And as she makes me a better version of myself, guess what I do? I reciprocate. I reciprocate. And I might not know that in the beginning when I first meet her. But when I learn to love her, then I want to love her properly. Because I'm too old for love at first. So now I might meet somebody like, oh, she fine. Wow. I might do all that kind of stuff. But then she might get on my nerves asking me for $50 when we first met and don't even barely know your last name. I've had it happen. Asking for, man, just meet somebody and they want to take you, ask you for money. I'm like, no, you must be broke. I'm broke. I sure am. I'm broke. I ain't got no money. I can't afford nothing. I promise you, I would say that in a heart. Yep. If that's what it takes. Yep. I'm broke. I ain't got it. I ain't buying that. Nope. Not doing it. But if I want to do it, I will. And if I like you enough, I can. But for somebody else, I'm not. So let's look at a couple more comments because I'm about to get off here in a little while. But I'm having a good time. So let's continue. All right. So let's get into a little bit of these a little bit deeper. Now, this is what Carol Brewer said. Y'all check this out. I love this though. And we can talk anybody. I'll let a man or a woman come on and talk about this one. But here it is. Here it is. It starts with the unwritten rules of the streets. They are honored like they are the gospel. We are out here having sex like it's a handshake and telling each other don't catch no feelings. No one is safe to love. Hold on. I got to do this again. Hold on. Somebody tag Carol Brewer and tell her I said come here. That right there, Lord have mercy. Let me hold on. On this one, you just got to do it. Got to drop the bomb. She dropped the bomb on us with that one, Jack. She said hold on, let me drop one more bomb because I'm gonna read it first, then I'm gonna drop the bomb. She said it starts with the unwritten rules of the streets. They are honored like they are the gospel. We are out here having sex like it's a handshake and telling each other don't catch no feelings. No one is safe to love. Hold on. Go. All right. Boom. Had to drop the bomb again. I like that. Because sex is so meaningless. Man, I mean, I ain't trying to mess nobody's game up or nothing like that. But man, people used to make you wait. They used to make you wait, Jack. I mean, for real. Some people had 90-day rules, all kind of stuff. They made you wait. But nowadays, man, please, first day, whatever, they wanted as much, each party is just as aggressive with the other one as the other one is. I'm not pointing the side at nobody because there's some promiscuous men and there's some promiscuous women. And there's some people that expect something on the first night, all that, but it used to be a time. It used to be a time. And she said, we out here passing out sex like a handshake. And I mean, men, some of us are guilty. I could probably, never know. I mean, I used to hear Jimmy Hinton before he passed, rest his soul, say that some men would treat sex like lifting weights. You know, they say it's just an activity. Women, most of the times, and I know some have changed, but most women, you know, they catch feelings a little bit faster. Some of them do. Now, some men catch feelings just as fast. I know that. But the thing is, she's saying that we're having all this sex and we're treating it like a handshake, but we're not expecting people to catch feelings. Is that fair? Does that work? And not only catching feelings, but you catching kids because you 40 plus and never been married. And I know it's by choice because you turn some people down. I'm not talking nobody in specifically and nobody particularly. But 40 plus, never been married, 2 or 3 children, you know, and then we're still trying to get married. And I know it's gonna be hard. I found that sometimes in those instances, it's hard to date because shoot, you've been talking to your kids all your life. You start talking to him like he's your child. And you can't talk to me like a child. It just can't do it. I get offended too easy. So no, I don't know. You know what? Let me quit talking. I'm talking in my past. I've actually grown up a little bit. I don't get as offended as easily as I used to. Like I told you, my middle finger ministry is very strong. And I'm telling you, I tell people ask me how my stress level went down. My stress level went down the more my middle finger started going up. And I'm not trying to be funny. And I'm not saying that I literally run around flipping people off, but you can put some middle finger in your attitude if you do it properly. And I might teach y'all how to do that one day. But I got it down to a science. And it helped me, especially when I was going through some of the most difficult points in my life, because I kind of had to insulate. How do you function in a new relationship when you're doing everything to show them you're in it to win it? You just keep, you do it. And some of y'all, if y'all want to help answer this, because Phoenicia, you are a therapist. So you can, I'm just telling you based on my experiences, right? This is for entertainment purposes only. If you can get something out of it, get something out of it. But if you can't, I understand that too. I think you do it until and see if it's reciprocated. And if it's not reciprocated in a manner that's satisfactory to you, then you have to evaluate whether or not it's worth going farther. And then you have to give yourself a time limit on how long that time is. I mean, I was given an ultimatum, well, not an ultimatum, but I was given a choice once before. You know, if things hadn't started to progress by a certain period, whether it be 6 months, whether it be 3 months, whether it be 9 months, if things hadn't progressed to where you think they should be, if you're still stuck on one, then I would probably, do something different. But I would never operate from a platform of desperation, though, because sometimes desperation, J. Vernon McGee said desperation is a prelude to grace, but sometimes desperation will cause you to get something that you really didn't deserve because you think you didn't deserve better. And we all deserve better. All of us, every one of us deserves better. Yeah, and the last day I love will wax cold for one another. Absolutely. And we getting close to that. And that's why I'm trying to keep these conversations hot, because hot conversations will melt wax. So I'm trying to keep us from waxing. I appreciate you throwing me these curveballs. Yeah, that's all I'm trying. That's all I want us to do. So yeah, if I can keep these conversations hot and keep identifying the problems and putting them before us, and then and then watch this. If enough people care, because like I said, average people sit around and point out problems. And one thing I've never been is average. I was in a 9th grade reading book in the 4th grade. So I've never been average. I sat in the same 6th grade class for 2 years because they wouldn't let us be with the regular 5th graders. So I got that loosely, LOOS. We use that word love so loosely, absolutely. Yeah. So so I ain't never been average. So we gonna keep this thing moving. Let me see. Put another comment up. I appreciate you, Carol, for that one. I told her I was gonna read her comment. Who else have I not read? Here's Danny's comment. I don't know if Danny's still on or not, but here's Danny's comment. I'm gonna read 2 more, this one and one more. But Danny's comment was, if I may, I think what needs to happen in order to reconcile is be honest with yourself first. If you're going to approach a woman, man, she didn't specify. Thank you, Danny. If you're going to approach someone, be honest about what your intentions are. Give the person the opportunity to say whether they want to be a part or that or not. Show me who you are, and I'll do the same. Don't approach me disrupting what I have going on and you playing. With that being said, not every person wants a husband and wife, and that's okay. Some people just want companionship. If I can be honest, some of the best relationships I've seen started with just that. Let's build a friendship where we talk about everything. We feel comfortable enough to be vulnerable with one another because we are friends. Then we can, I'm trying to read the Bible. Then we can both decide whether we want to take it farther. I think it's unfortunate that we are in 2024 and we're still circling the drain. I agree with that. I agree with everything she said. And honestly, I don't see how anybody would honestly dispute what she said, because she said it to men and to women. She said it, and she didn't point the finger. She used inclusive language by saying we. What's wrong with that? And you know what? I think I got her. She's going to be at the event on March the 2nd. And we're going to discuss a post that she put out last week. And I can't wait until then. I can't wait. So on March the 2nd, those that are fortunate enough to be invited to our event, the bonding of the sexes, uh, then you're going to hear Danny and I have a conversation. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to that. Oh, that definitely can preach. And you know what? But like I said, you reach a whole lot more people out here than you do in that thing on Sunday morning a lot of times, man. So I got one more I want to read. Then I'm gonna go to bed. I got to work tomorrow. Okay, but y'all have made this fun. Y'all have made this fun tonight. All right, so let me read this one. I want to read Tierica's, but I would need Tierica on here because she went deep. She went a whole nother level. She didn't went into generational curses and all that kind of stuff. So if y'all want to get that deep on, we need to do a whole show on that one. And I bring Dawood on, Tierica on, and that would be a fun show. But that's gonna be another time. Right now, I'm trying to work on the bonding. And I ain't gonna lie, if y'all come on here, y'all trying to talk divisive and all that stuff, I'm cutting you. I don't mean no harm, but y'all gonna feel these razor blades. I promise you are. I'm cutting, and because to me, that means you're trying to attack my mission. And if I feel like you're trying to attack my mission, then I have to protect it, right? And so I'm gonna stop holding these razor blades back. I'm gonna start putting them out there because I got to protect my platform. And I've shared 100 times about staying on topic. And if you don't want to do it, that's fine. I promise you I won't. I'm not good at blocking people, and people won't allow me to block people. They tell me, no, don't block them, let them stay. But if they keep trying to divert my mission, I got a problem with that, and I'm gonna share it. I promise you I am. Okay, and I'm not angry because I don't get angry, but I am matter of fact, and I mean what I say, every bit of it, because I don't bother anybody. If you tell me where you're trying to go, I promise you I'll set the GPS. I'll help you get where you're trying to go. I'll help you say. I might even put the first tank of gas in your car. I have no problem with that. But when you come here in my house, right? That's like you walking in my house deciding you're gonna come in and put your feet on the coffee table, or go in my refrigerator and just pour you a cup of Dr. Pepper like it's your house. No, man, this is my spot. And I'm responsible for the message that I put out here. And so I'm going to continue to do that, right? And I appreciate you all. Now that we all are going to act accordingly. And if we're not, then we're going to do something different. I have no problem with that. None whatsoever. Okay. So let me read this comment right here. This is from BJ Gilmore, B. Victoria. She said, they can't reconcile because they're not taking time to know each other in the first place. People don't take the time to grow to know. Relationships appear to be rushed and almost instantaneous. What happened to getting to know each other? Hold on, I'm sorry, I read that wrong, and I'm trying to take this banner off. What happened to getting to know each other's friends and families, the real you? People used to ask questions like, what kind of work do you do? Do you want children? What are your parents? Who are your parents, and where do they live? You need to know these things and so much more in the growth of a relationship. So much, hey, you don't want to fool around and marry your cousin. A whole other set of problems. Grow to know. Can you dispute that? See, to me, that's the type of advice on Facebook that needs to be shared. That, but we'll share something about Steve Harvey and Cat Williams, or we'll share something about, why somebody ain't doing this or somebody ain't doing that. We share a whole lot of bull. Yeah, and if Kawana's on here, she'll say the second half of it for me. She said we share a whole lot of bull, but we won't share good advice. And that's all I'm trying to say. That was good advice. You're gonna mess around and marry your cousin because you don't take the time to get to know the person you're dealing with. We came up as Africa, when we were in Africa, we were a part of what you call a being culture. A being culture is a communal culture, right? We couldn't get married unless Big Mama said we could. We couldn't get married because when you walked in the house, when Big Mama and them saw, what's first question Big Mama and them said? Big Mama and them said, "Who your people?" Because they want to know who your people are, because they need to know. Because see, certain people might have mental illness in their family, or certain people might have this going on in their family. And guess what? In a small community, people know those things. In a small town, people know those things, and they can give you some advice that can save you problems in the future. I was talking about an hour ago. They can give you advice that'll, I'm messing with you, Dawood. They can give you advice that'll save you trouble in the future simply by communicating. Man, I used to be scared to bring women home to my mama because my stepmama wasn't no joke. She'd be like, "That you brought a little ugly one home today." I'm just joking. Well, no. She might have said that once or twice. And I ain't gonna lie, if my mama didn't like you, for what? What's the purpose? If my mama don't like you, because guess what? If you marry somebody up front that your mama don't like, what y'all doing every holiday when you get married? That automatically causes division. That already messes up the family reunion. That messes up all those types of things. And I know love the one you're with. That's an egalitarian mindset. You know what? If I got real deep on this thing and I start talking, love ain't the only thing we're supposed to marry for. Love is an emotion. There are going to be some days that I just don't like you. There are going to be some days where love is in question. So when I don't have love, I better have something else to fall back on. I mean, and I'm sorry. Love is an emotion. And and sometimes it fluctuates. So love can't be the only reason we got married. It's got to be we got to be able to connect on other levels, right? We have to be able to connect. And that's what you ought to be looking for, is a connection. But we too busy looking for lists, and we're not looking at the list. Let me check this out. He's 5'11", 6 feet. Check. He got good hair. Check. He light skinned. Check. He make $80,000 to $100,000 a year. Check. And all this thing. Then all of a sudden, does he love the Lord? Well, no, he don't love the Lord. Well, he got all these other things going on. Or you find reasons to break up. You find reasons to leave. That's a problem. And it's going to continue to be a perpetual problem until we take the time to put in the work. I'm not coming in telling somebody. I might come in telling you what I offer, what I do. And I'm learning what you do. You said something a few minutes ago, Phoenicia, about he didn't even know your what would you say? What's your favorite color? That's one of the first questions I would ask a woman. First, what's your favorite color? What's your favorite flower? And what's your favorite food? And just by knowing the favorite color, favorite flower, and favorite food, I probably can think of about 10 places that we can go on a date, and in ways I can make it special once we go. And if I care enough, I'll do those things. If I don't, I'm probably gonna offer something else. And if you choose not to accept it, that's on you, and I respect that. Yeah. But we're going to fix this thing, I promise you, because there is going to be bonding. At least that's what I'm going to talk about. And if enough people catch on, if we keep turning the light on, then we're going to dispel darkness, and all the roaches are going to scatter because they're not going to be able to stand it. Not this raid, not this poison we're going to be spitting. They're not going to be able to stand it. Roaches got to go. And we're going to get on the same page. As long as I got some people like Dawood and some people like Phoenicia, and I got people like Myra, and I got Melinda and Mary. I mean, all these people who listen and understand, because you know how I know you understand? Because you put substantive stuff. I love when people's conversation don't start with a but. Because I got a friend, And I know when I'm talking or when somebody else is talking, he's already formulating his plan for his response. And he's a friend. It's not an associate. And sometimes I would have made a good point. And when you hear a good point, can I give you some advice? And this is optional. Pause and process what you just heard. Pause. And we've been addressing trauma too long. How long you want to address trauma, Dawood? We already know what the problem is. We know what we've talked about thousands. No, I ain't gonna say thousands, but we've talked about dozens and dozens of problems, and they're all traumatic situations. But how long are we gonna continue to talk about trauma? How long? I forgot what oh yeah. But anyway, this dude here, whenever he's listening to you, he's always listening, ready to make a response. And I asked him, well, did you hear what I just said? Yeah, but really you didn't. Or really, because I asked him what I said. And sometimes, like somebody said earlier, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth. My daddy told me that. That's another anatomical thing that God did. He made us with 2 ears and 1 mouth. Why? To do twice as much listening as we do talking. But so many of us are so busy talking because we want to put out the same cliches, the same tired facts that keep going over and 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 over, and we're discussing trauma over and over and over. And I just believe that certain people are ready to move on, and they can't move on because you got a certain segment of society that want to use trauma as an anchor. There's so much that they got teledocs now. You can get therapists online. You can go see a therapist. You got books you can read. You got self-help books. You got self-help videos. You got all of these different things out here, right? You got all of these things out here. All of these things out here. But we too busy want to stay stuck on I'm sorry, I can't do it anymore. I've done it long enough. I've done it for the last real talk. I've done it for the last 2 years. I've done that for 2. Girl, hold on. 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 I got to do this for you, Phoenicia, I'm sorry. I got to do this for you. Hold on. Hold on. Here it is, y'all. Hold on. Here it is. Do it one more time. One more bomb. Give me one more bomb. Some people hold on to trauma like it's a trophy. What's that dude named? Jurgens Moltz. I believe it's Jurgens Moltzman. I believe that's his name. He's a theologian. And if I got the name Jurgens Moltman, if I got it wrong, I'll figure it out and I'll give it to y'all next week. And he talks about the suffering saint, right? The suffering saint, talking about Christ and suffering. And so many of us only focus on the suffering that we miss the triumph. If he died on the first day, we believe I believe, now I ain't gonna get into a theological debate. Y'all know my platform. He got up. Why we focus on the tragedy when there was a triumph? When there was a triumph, right? The reciprocal of tragedy is triumph. The reciprocal of trauma is triumph. I want to win eventually. So I'm not going to sit here and wear suffering or trauma as a badge of honor, thinking that I'm supposed to get something special. Because, man, I'm the one who overcomes, the one who perseveres. That's the one I'm trying to get with. The one who, that's why I bring, if y'all notice, look who I bring. I bring on people who've gone through something so that you can get something out of it. I done messed around and found me a Phoenicia Mosley. Now I guess I got another therapist. Y'all already know I got Ray Evans. That's a good therapist. I bring him on. When I brought him on a couple of weeks ago and we did our show called I Don't Look Like What I've Been Through. Not on Myra's show, but it was one on Jason's show and Janine's show. At the end of the show, we had dealt with so much tragedy during the show that I had to bring a therapist on to come on and talk about the 5 stages of grief and to explain how, because I don't want us to leave here empty. I want us to leave here full. And I want us to know what each other are thinking. And I appreciate you, Dawood, for what you say. Don't get me wrong. He said, but like I said, we all know that we've been through trauma. That's evident. But how do we get up from trauma? I mean, do we keep, you know what? When I was a little boy, sometimes I just want to put a Band-Aid on just for the fun of it, right? I just want to put a Band-Aid on. But wasn't no sore under the Band-Aid. I think some people wear a Band-Aid on just for a conversation piece. And Phoenicia just said it, for attention. And guess what? Those people who think, see, doctors keep y'all sick, keep a lot of us sick because they keep on prescribing medicine. And because we think we're sick, we keep on going back and getting more medicine, right? And that's why a whole lot of these Facebook influencers and all of these people who claim to have it all together, they preying on y'all who think y'all are still sick. Y'all ain't sick. You just hanging around sick people. And if you lay down with dogs, oh Lord, all right there, you're going to get up with fleas every time. Better learn how to get around some people who have already overcome. Like you just said, Dawood, the ones who overcome reach back because we made it through. Yeah, but when I go back, I'm not always reminding them of the trauma. I'm telling you, get up. I'm telling you, hey, you can handle this. I'm telling you, man, hey, I'm not telling you get over it, but I'm telling you to get up. And sometimes, like I think it was who was it? The Williams brothers. They said if you shake it off and pack it under your feet, then eventually you'll work your way out of the hole that you're in. When the dust comes on, shake it off, pack it under you, and that'll elevate you. And then guess what? You have a new testimony that you can put in that file cabinet of your mind that says, I conquered this. I made it. I know. And guess what? I always say this, Phoenicia, that life lends lessons. It's just on us to consider the clues. Some of us aren't considering the clues. I'm not going to be the common denominator in the same type of relationship 5 times. It's not going to happen. Maybe that type of dude ain't for you. Or maybe that type of woman ain't for you. Maybe you need to mess with the dude, the nice guy, but you want a thug. And he put his hands on you every chance he get. But he love you. Girl, you better move on. Yeah. It's time to make some hard decisions for our own personal betterment. Y'all always hear me say, and I'm gonna put it out here again, that I'm on the path to better. I sell t-shirts. I got it on my hoodie right now. On the path to better. There's better available and better exists, but we have to be willing to take the necessary steps to move towards better. But if we keep doing the same thing, expecting different results, somebody said that's called insanity. And I don't ever want to be guilty of being called insane because I was afraid to move forward, or I stayed stuck in a state of stagnation. If something is not causing you to grow, and the only thing I know that dies standing straight up is a tree. And the funny part about it is that while that tree is dying, standing straight up, that tree still looks functional. Birds show up. Bugs eat on the tree, gnaw on the tree. It still looks functional. Now, eventually the leaves all die and fall, but it's still functional. And some of us are functional, but we die and standing straight up. We go to work every day, go to church, so-called have friends, relate to people, but inside you're not becoming a better version of yourself. I want somebody who challenges me. I want somebody who sees the end with me before. And guess what? If they say, I see the end before the beginning a lot of times. I'm speaking prophetically now. I see the end before the beginning a lot of times. And if they don't see it with me, that's cool. But as long as they trust the fact that I see it, and as long as I can articulate it, if you see it with me, you don't have to see. See, if I paint the words right, you'll see it anyway. If you vibing with me, if we connected, and you ask the right questions, and sometimes your questions will help unlock my vision. I appreciate you when you connected to the right person. But we too busy finding reasons to leave instead of, oh, here it is. We too busy finding reasons to leave instead of reasons to love. I think that's a good spot to go out on. We're too busy finding reasons to leave. She don't do what I tell her to do. Who the hell are you? Why would she? Why would she? In the beginning. Now, trust it. Now, watch this. Once you earn that place in her life, you don't just hand, you don't hand submission out to a normal Negro on the street. Just because we've been talking been talking for 30 days? No. You earned that position. You earned that position. And you don't come in talking about that in the beginning. I'm just getting to know you instead of telling you who I need you to be. I'm getting to know who you are. And you're getting to know who I am. And then eventually you start to tweak some of those knobs. And eventually, if it fits, and if it doesn't, and guess what? If we do it right, there's a natural submission. And in fact, guess what? She might be better at paying the bills. So if she's better at paying the bills, hey, baby, pay the bills. You got that. I ain't necessarily saying I'm just, if some cats, I ain't just saying I'm going to just bring my check home, whatever. I don't know how that goes. Well, we did a joint bank account, so I guess I'm cool on that. But yeah, there's some things just happen naturally when it's supposed to be. But if you have to force it, and I see a lot of cats, they run women off before they even have a chance. Coming in talking all that crazy stuff, man, I get it. But you get more flies with honey than you do with vinegar. And I prefer a woman that's sweet. I ain't got time. So I provide the honey. I do it that way. So it's been fun. Let me turn my music down a little bit too loud. But yeah, I want y'all, if you want to attend the bonding of the sexes, if you want to attend the bonding of the sexes in Little Rock, Arkansas, North Little Rock, Arkansas, on March the 2nd. It's by invitation only, so you have to reach out to me. And the fact that you're hearing this now, you are a follower of the podcast. I just would that you would go over to YouTube and subscribe. So if you're watching this and you hear this commercial, reach out to my inbox and let me know. Say, hey, James, I want to come vibe with you on March the 2nd. And Tony TP Pearson, that's my boy, my high school friend. He's going to be there. I called him a bartender. He said, bro, I ain't no bartender. I'm a certified mixologist. So I thought it was a fancy word for bartender. So I'm going to take his word for it. I got checked about it. So he's going to call so he's going to be mixing drinks that night. We got a caterer that's coming in that's going to be bringing in hors d'oeuvres. I'm only preparing for a certain number of people. So don't just show up that day. You probably get turned around. Well, I don't want to say that, but just don't do that. But just reach out and let me know you want to come. The list is filling up, but we still have room. So if you want to come, reach out, holler at me. I appreciate it. We've been getting so much favor. I mean, so much favor. I had somebody volunteer and they gave me the food. I didn't have to pay a dime for the food. When I got ready to rent the venue, I told I was getting ready to pay the money. A friend of mine called me from out of town and said, I got it. Don't worry about the food. I got it. I got the venue. So we've been getting food. If you want to be a part of it, there the Cash App is the Intellectual Stew JK2. Let me move so you can see it better. There it is. The Intellectual Stew JK2. Feel free. Hey, thank you, Myra. Hallelujah. Favor. I'm for real. All kinds of favor. All kinds of favor. I've already paid. Really, I paid for most things already. And so we're going to have a good time on that day, man. It's going to be grown folks fun. Grown folks conversation. We're gonna be able to shake hands, come, dress up, be business casual. Don't come in with no sagging pants on, no dickies, and man, be grown up. Let's be grown up. My daddy taught me when I got a certain age, I put on a pair of pants. So come out, rock with your boy, and we'll have a good time. I promise you we will. So March 2nd, 6:00 p.m. We'll kick things off, and we're gonna have a good time. So I appreciate y'all. We had a good conversation tonight, and I'm gonna use some of this information for March the 2nd, and we'll keep having conversations like these for the rest of the month. Now I usually have a panel on these, and I was gonna have a panel tonight, but one person got sick, the other person had to work, and that's cool. And I could have brought some more people on, but I don't mind. Back in the day, I ain't gonna lie, I was introverted. I was a little scared. I needed people to lean on, but I can talk for an hour. Dang, I've been on an hour and a half. It's cool. But it's been real. I'm out. As I always say, up on exiting, I always say that the world is changing. But my question for you is, why do you remain the same? Y'all have a good night. And we're going to do this again next Monday night at the same time. All right. 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Intellectual Stew. I'm out.
Intellectual stew with James Kirkland. Intellectual stew.
Hey, let's change the world together. Get your The World is Changing tea at www.theintellectualstew.com.
Intellectual stew.
Listen, friends, I was stuck in a state of stagnation. I was depressed after a divorce. I was marinating in my misery, didn't want to do anything, didn't want to work, didn't want to go anywhere. I just wanted to stay where I was. But then all of a sudden I had an epiphany, and I realized that where I was not where I was supposed to be. So I made an adjustment. And you know what I did? I got on the path to better. You know why? Because I realized that better existed. And you know what I want to do? I want to invite you to join me on the path to better. Get your On the Path to Better t-shirt at www.theintellectualstew.com. Will you join me on the path to better? Listen, friends, I